What's happening, y'all? I am already hearing that this is a tactical move to get sympathy because of them getting closer and closer to things, shady business with him. But let's check this out, see what's going on.
We are continuing to monitor breaking news out of the White House about former President Joe Biden. His office just revealed that the 46th president is diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. Let's check back in with Madeline Rivera.
Aggressive.
She is live at the White House for us. Madeline.
Hey, John. So, yes, we just got this information within the last half hour or so. So I do just want to read the statement from the personal office of former President Joe Biden. It says, last week, President Joe Biden was seen for a new finding of a prostate nodule after experiencing increasing urinary symptoms. On
Prostate cancer is no joke. By the way, at the end of the video, I think I will link the video to a very special elixir of mine that helps fight a ton of diseases.
Friday, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer,
including
characterized
cancer,
by a Gleason score of 9, grade group 5, with metastasis to the bone. While this represents a more aggressive form of the disease, the cancer appears to be more hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management. The president and his family are reviewing treatment options with his physicians. So there have been a lot of headlines and concerns regarding the president's cognitive health. It was one of the reasons why he was pushed out of the presidential candidacy last year. But there have been very few headlines and concerns regarding the president's own physical health. In fact, I went back to see what the president's results were from his annual physical last year, and it said President Biden is a healthy, active, robust 81-year-old male who remains fit to successfully execute the duties of the presidency, to include those as chief executive, head of state, and commander-in-chief.
What?
So it is kind of shocking at this point. But the president, I've been thinking back to some of the activities that we've seen him do. This is a former president who was very active. We could see him go biking in Rehoboth Beach whenever he would go down there with his family. He was very physically fit and very active, at least for his age. So this is shocking news. Of course, we are waiting to hear more information. Now, of course, Biden, being the former president, will be afforded some of the best care in the country, but he is 82 years old, so there are understandably concerns about how his treatment may go as well. But I do want to refer to one part of that statement. Again, they say...
Yeah, especially if they're talking about radiation. They're talking about chemotherapy. Look up the side effects of chemotherapy and radiation.
At this time, that this cancer appears to be hormone sensitive,
at that age,
which allows for effective management. So there is that hope that the president will be able to withstand whatever treatment he does go through. But again, at this point, this statement says that this is an aggressive form of bone cancer. Prostate cancer, rather, excuse me.
That them metastasize to the bone.
We could see come out of this news today. John.
Shoot. Metastasized to the bone. See what this doctor got to say.
Let's bring in Dr. Mark Siegel, Fox News senior medical analyst. Let me read again from that news release that we got from former President Biden's office, doctor. It says he was diagnosed with prostate cancer characterized by a Gleason score of 9, grade group 5.
Never heard of that before.
With metastasis to the bone.
And that's what we just heard about, the metastasis to the bone.
Doesn't sound good, doctor.
Yeah, it sounds like it's spreading from the prostate to the bone. And I remember hearing, back when my mom was sick, they had said something about, like, you know, if you get cancer, like, once it gets to your bones, it's almost, you know, so maybe it didn't get to the marrow, because I think I've heard, like, it gets to your bone marrow, that's it. That's what they say, at least, you know.
Gleason 9, John, means that it's in a very aggressive form of cancer, and group 5 means that within that, it's the most aggressive type. That means it has the highest risk of spread, which obviously he has had. He's presenting with urinary symptoms, and I want the viewer to know that most of the time, prostate cancer would be asymptomatic. When it reaches the point where you already have urinary symptoms, that's also a sign that it's pretty far advanced. When they say...
Heard about that, you know, large prostate, you know, you got problems peeing, or you pee a lot at night, get up a lot at night to pee. I got a question. Is there any type of prostate exam that does not involve insertion of anything into your butthole? Because I'm not getting violated. I personally think that would traumatize me. Some people aren't traumatized by it. Some people are. I know myself, and I would be traumatized by that, even if it was a female doctor doing it. So, what other type of screening is involved that's non-invasive?
That it is hormone responsive. That likely means that they think by decreasing testosterone, it can be a testosterone-dependent cancer, that it will respond. The two types of therapy.
Same thing with colon cancer for me. Like, I'm not sticking nothing up my booty hole. So, I know with them, like, they have they do stool sample type of tests and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll look into it sooner or later.
They use for that is one called Lupron, which stops testosterone production, and the other is a drug called Casodex or like Casodex, which stops testosterone from.
I refuse to take any drugs for anything. The only thing I take once in a while now is sometimes, it's very rare, ibuprofen. You know what I'm saying? If I have some real tight muscles from doing something, or, you know what I mean, and the pain won't go away, I might. A bottle of ibuprofen lasts me years. You know what I'm saying? But that's it.
From binding. They also might decide, and I don't know this, but sometimes they decide to do more than one therapy. They might try to take the prostate out, do radiation, and the hormone therapy all together. That's
I'm not getting
uncommon.
my prostate removed.
Over 80% of men over the age of 80 have some prostate cancer cells in their body. So this is a very high likelihood in all men. And if it's this far advanced, meaning Gleason 9 metastasized to the bone, the 5-year survival rate is somewhere between 30 and 40%. Again, depending on how well he responds to therapy. One of the questions on everyone's mind, and
I remember looking at something about soursop. I don't know if it's the juice or the whole fruit, but I remember reading something about soursop that said it was actually 10,000 times more potent, more powerful than chemotherapy. I'm going to get me some soursop.
Just heard this from the reporter is, what about last year's PSA? You know, this was found by physical examination, by a prostate exam. A lot of times we find an elevation in prostate-specific.
See how he did that? Look at this.
In a PSA, and then we go after it, get an MRI.
Look, did y'all see what he did?
I mean, he must have by a prostate exam. A lot
see
of
that?
Found by physical examination by a prostate exam.
Yeah, I don't think so.
A lot of times we find an elevation in prostate-specific antigen, a PSA, and then we go after it, get an.
I wouldn't even let Scarlo give me a prostate exam like that. I'd be traumatized from that.
MRI. I mean, he must have had the best possible care here. I'm a little taken aback that it's this far advanced and very, very concerned about it.
I'm just going to follow the diet of the people on the earth that show the least amount of cancer. Yeah, I already know I do a lot of fasting when I can. And, yeah, never had any major issues. So, knock on wood.
Yeah, that's the question I was going to ask you. This is a former president of the United States. He's supposed to be getting, as you say, the best medical care in the world. And yet, you know,
supposedly,
just a few months after he leaves office, this prostate cancer is advanced enough that it has metastasized to the bone. That's just not good.
No.
No, and then we don't have enough information for me to be sure of the following statement, but I want everyone to know that the PSA, though, I think it's a really great test, and I do it on every male over the age of 45. Sometimes it can be low, and you still could have this. It's not 100%. I'm not saying his was low. It wasn't written as I don't recall it being indicated there. But if it's high, you go after it. And again, to reach the point of symptoms, most of the time we can diagnose it before. Although, it may very well be that he's hormone responsive, and that's what we're all hoping and praying for here. We're looking to see what the radiation oncologist says. Are they going to give radiation? They've advanced radiation therapy dramatically for prostate cancer. They can target it. They can use seeds. It has less side effects than it used to. And
y'all know me, I don't mess around with any type of drugs like that. And I remember a few days ago hearing that Trump made it so that a bunch of medications were like, I don't know what they say, like 30 to 70% off, lower or something like that. And I was just like, well, that don't help me none. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know, if you've been following me for a long time, you know I'm into natural health. So it's like anything that can be, it's my belief that anything that can be cured, anything that can be fixed with quote unquote modern medicine can also be fixed with natural medicine through your diet. Other things like tinctures, supplements, acupuncture, certain types of energy work, stress relief, deep breathing, walking, sunlight, making sure you're hydrated. Like, there's a lot of things. Detoxifying yourself. The body always detoxifies itself, but there are ways to make it really get rid of, they purge a lot of toxins. It's not always the best to have the body purge them that fast, but in certain situations there are. Look into Gerson therapy. Look at the history of Gerson therapy. Look what happened to him. Look up stuff like that. There's some wild stuff with natural therapies where you like, well, why don't more people know about this? Oh.
The same thing with robotic prostatectomy is unbelievable now at getting the prostate out. So a lot of times the prostate would be taken out, they would give radiation and then give the hormone therapy. They're not saying that at this point.
It is, as you say, one of the most treatable forms of cancer, but you have to catch it fairly early, right?
Well, you have to catch it if you catch it while it's still within the capsule, within the prostate itself, it's curable most of the time. When it's metastasized, like here to the bone, much less so. And again, this aggressive, very
I assume the pelvic bone or
probably
tailbone.
They might try to radiate that lesion they found on the bone. They're definitely going to give hormone therapy here. They'll know more in a few months about how responsive it is. When the goal is to get it before it leaves the prostate. When it's left the prostate, it becomes much more difficult to cure.
Dr. Siegel, stay with us for just a moment. We want to check in with senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy. Peter, obviously you were there at the White House for the full run of the Biden administration. Are you as surprised as I am at this news regarding the former president?
Well, so there we have it on the doctor's details. Well, he's definitely going to have to undergo some aggressive treatments to get rid of this aggressive cancer. Let me know what you all think about this situation. Do you think that it is a strategic move? Do you have sympathy? Do you feel bad? What do you think is up? I figured I'd do a video on this to, help my followers keep from getting cancer. You know what I'm saying? Tell you a little bit of things, that I do. Speak on some things as I'm listening to the video. And I will post my video on my special elixir. 10 million subscribers.